Today, Roy and I are going to talk about fishing. He brought this picture book here with a lot of pictures of fish, which people can't see on the wow. I'm just going to show you because this is some big bundles of fish here.
It's always food.
Okay.
Now just turn another page there if you want to.
Okay, I'll turn
More
another
fish.
one, and then I want to get more of.
There's a lot of fish.
There's some more. And are these pretty much all catfish?
Well, there's some of them are catfish and a lot of them are bass.
Oh, okay. All
A
right.
lot of them are, now this is bass here. And this is crappie.
Okay, all right.
See how big
yeah,
them crappie
right.
is?
Yeah, they are big.
I caught them where did that catch? Oh, I caught them crappie in Oregon.
Oh, okay. Well,
But they here is bass here. I caught them down at, well, it'd be at Anderson, where it'd be Shay's Ponds.
okay.
I used to fish there.
Uh-huh.
And I'd go down there and catch a lot of them. I caught a lot of fish there. And I caught a lot of fish up here toward Canby. He used to bring 100 bass home a day.
Wow. Now, when you
Now,
fish,
I didn't catch all of them. But these guys from Tudor Lake could catch them and they want to throw them away when they got ready to go home. I said, I'll take them and give them to senior citizens.
uh-huh.
And that's what I did. But mostly I give it to guys had cancer.
Okay.
Lots of guys had cancer long about then.
And when you fish up in Canby, where is it that you go fishing?
Well, it's between Canby and then up toward Klamath Falls on that highway there.
Oh, okay. All right.
And now I'm going tomorrow up at Alturas fishing.
And where are you going to fish up there?
I'm going to fish them mudcats I was telling you about.
Uh-huh. And in a lake?
Yeah, it's a lake, pretty good sized lake. But last time I fished up there in that lake, I brought home 47
Wow. Catfish.
catfish.
Yeah. No limit on catfish.
I don't guess. I never heard of it, if it is.
Uh-huh.
Some people says it is, but I never heard of it. I never heard of it. Game warden say it was in limit on it.
Right, and I don't speak to limits unless I have the little book with me, since it's pretty complicated fishing limits. You know. So now I'm going to go back again, like, because you moved up here in 1949. You moved up, you came out to this area.
Yeah,
So you've been fishing this area for that long
and
time.
hunting too.
Right.
I've fished the beaver, I've fished all Pitt River, and I've fished pretty well all around. Yeah, I've been fishing this ever since in '49.
Uh-huh. Do you have a favorite place, or you like them all?
Well, it used to, they would fish anywhere you went, because there wasn't no people, there wasn't that many people in '49.
Right, right.
They had to go over on the coast to Hargide, where they'd have enough hands to log. There just wasn't nobody here.
Uh-huh.
You could go from here to Reading, sometimes you'd never even meet a car, not one car. Then sometimes you'd meet two cars.
Right. And the highway was different then, too.
Oh yeah, it wasn't what it was, a highway for a wagon and teams, and they just blacktopped it.
Uh-huh. People used to say that they would take a picnic lunch, because it was such a long drive,
Yeah.
that they would drive halfway and then stop for lunch and then drive the rest of the way.
When they used to go on wagons from here down,
Uh-huh.
they haul eggs from here up here down there.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know when, like, I've always been kind of interested in the history of that road, because at that Highway 299 where they blacktop it, I think that wasn't in the early days, that wasn't the main way of travel here, from my understanding. It's like going way back to when it was settled. People would come up from Susanville, and there were a number of different ferries and stuff, and the Fall River was here, and then they would travel up to like Mount Shasta and Weed that way, and the road from Bernie to Redding wasn't.
Well, there wasn't no road from here to Susanville. You had to go out through Bernie and around that, take that back way
going up
to Susanville.
Oh, okay. Where would you go up to Alturas, or?
Yeah, you go right out Alturas and hit, what is it? 395.
Right.
Yeah, 395, and that's where we went to Susanville.
So do you know when it was that they blacktopped the road from Bernie to Rennie?
Huh?
Do you know when it was that they paved the road
Well,
from Bernie to Rennie?
I know it, but I don't remember what year.
Okay, all right. But
yeah, I know it when they was blacktopping.
And before that it was dirt.
See, they built a new road.
Right.
They built a new road.
Yeah.
I know it when that, but I didn't know when they blacktopped the first wagon road. No.
Okay.
That's way before I come out here. But I know that's the blacktop the road we're traveling now.
I just remember in the 1950s, from 1955 to 1961, when I would come here for the summers, that highway was this really little curvy highway.
In the 50s, that's where that old highway, you come on the old highway.
Yeah. And it would take a while to get there.
Like when you come out of Gummer Creek, you just come a little ways, then you turn a little left, went out up to that crooked road till you got up almost on top of the mountain.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And a lot of times when you're going to Redding, if it was snow, a snow blower in the road, you'd have to sometimes sit there for 3 or 4 hours or maybe half a day before you could get by, because there wasn't no room to get by.
Yeah. That's and that was open range up there.
Oh yeah.
Because when I was out on my grandfather's ranch one time, we had this German fellow named Bruno taking care of us, and he was taking us down he wanted to go down and see his girlfriend in Redding. So we snuck off the ranch, and he ran into a cow up on the highway there, and it was his fault because it was open range. So he had to pay for the car and the cow.
Yeah.
So, well, back to the fishing here. What would you say in this area? Well, just tell a few stories about some of your fishing trips.
Well, down there you take, back in the 50s, you could catch a lot of fish here. Like I say, they wasn't too many fishermen here.
Right.
And then after they, I call them goops. I don't know what it's them guys, what they moved in here, and gypnies or what they are. And when they got through, there wasn't no fish over there, I guarantee you.
When and where were these Vietnamese or Japanese?
Well, gypnies, I think is the name.
Japanese.
Maybe it was Japanese,
or Vietnamese.
Either one, I think it's Japanese. But when they got through with the fish, they wasn't no fish left.
And where did they live?
He lived in the woods, I guess. I didn't know. I never did see a house where they lived in.
Was this after the Vietnam War, or?
Well, it hadn't been too long ago.
So after the Vietnam War?
I'd say.
Like in the 70s?
In the 70s, the 80s.
So in the 70s and 80s, a lot of people from Southeast Asia moved up into this area.
Yeah, they just moved
Right.
in here somewhere. I think they moved in the woods. But and catch any, if they caught a fish 4 inches long, they put it in that bucket.
Okay.
They didn't turn no fish loose.
Wow, that's something I never even knew about. I mean, there was a period of time when a lot of Southeast Asians moved
Yeah.
up to this area.
And the game warden couldn't do nothing with them.
Why not?
Because it's from over there. That's the way they fished over there.
Okay, and then eventually, once the fish were gone, they moved out.
And later on, they did put a limit on the fish. See, that's what caused them to leave. Because they couldn't catch all the fish they wanted to.
Uh-huh. Wow. That's a piece of, history of this area that I was unaware of. And so from around in the 70s. So tell us another fishing story.
Let's see. I got a fishing story where I went up in Oregon. You know, when I showed you on pictures.
Yeah.
We go up there. They wasn't no limit on them up there. And we caught 500 crappie, and maybe probably take you about 5 hours to catch 500 crappie.
Wow.
But that's what we went for crappie up there in Oregon. It was a lot of crappie up there. And big crappie.
Now, are there more, those years, 55 to 61, when we'd come up at the ranch, we would get up at 4:30 in the morning, because our grandfather had us to go out and work during the day. We'd get up early in the morning, and we'd go there on Black Ranch. There are 3 different bridges across, and one of the bridges, the stream is about 5 feet deep, and maybe more. And we would sit on top of that bridge from about 5 in the morning till about 6 in the morning, and we would catch a lot of catfish in there, and some trout. We were just kids.
That was Bernie Creek.
Bernie Creek, right?
Yeah, out there at the B.O. Old Four Corner. Is that where you were fishing? Or
yeah.
were you fishing down here in town?
We were fishing on Black Ranch.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, that's where that's at.
And we also would drive up Black Ranch Road. It was called Long Valley Road then.
Yeah.
But we would drive up about halfway past where the Stiers Ranch was, and you could near where the railroad tracks cross.
Yeah.
And just above where the railroad tracks cross, you go down in there, and there was an area called Molly's Pond. You ever hear of Molly's Pond?
Mm-hmm.
And we would catch good trout in there.
Oh yeah.
And pretty big catfish. Is that stream still full of catfish?
I don't know. It probably ain't, but now.
See, isn't that funny? Because to me, I always just think of it the way that it was and think you go out there. We didn't even use a fishing rod.
I don't fish out there. I don't know.
Then we'd go back home and we'd have a nice breakfast of catfish and eggs. We would catch a lot of catfish. We didn't use poles.
That's out there on Haynes Ranch. No, I don't know if there's still fish out there or not. It went dry.
So there's a lot of places around here where the fish have changed. Because before there were a lot more fish.
But a lot of places went dry. All the fish died. Where it used to freeze, the creeks never did go dry, or a lake never did go dry.
Yeah.
Because they had a lot of snow too.
Right.
But after the snow pack quit, lots of places went dry. But now, one thing out here at Lake Breton, it gets so low and you get all low moss and stuff on it.
Right.
It gets smelling so bad you can't fish no.
That's another thing that I remember was back in that period of time in the late 50s and 60s, that lake was clear.
Oh yeah, clear.
Crystal clear.
But then now see, they got a dam up on the other side of Pittsville. So they more or less ration their own water. Sometimes they would be running pretty big, and next time it'll be dry. And they planted a lot of rice, see, and all that rice is washed off in the river, and they say that's what killed a lot of them fish.
That's what I've heard too.
That's all I know is just what they said on it. I don't know.
Yeah.
They say that's what killed a lot of catfish and all kinds of fish. Something about that rice that kills them or something. Or maybe it's the fertilizer they put in it.
That's what I've heard. They started using a new kind of fertilizer.
It might be the fertilizer.
Yeah. So nowadays, mostly when you go fishing, you go up to Modoc County?
I do. That's where I do most of my fishing up there, because they got so many different lakes. But they're getting so low, getting where you can't hardly catch them fish up there too.
Well, that's sad. That's because of the drought.
Huh?
The drought.
Yeah, it's the only kind of drought.
You ever fish the lakes up on the Butte up there? Like, you know, if you go 44 and you go up like Butte Lake, Crater Lake, the Bogart area?
No, I haven't fished very much that. Yeah, they fish good lakes up here on the wilderness area too. A lot of fish.
Thousand Lakes Wilderness, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of fish in
Yeah.
there. But you have to either hike in there or ride a horse down there.
Yeah.
You can't drive no cars in there.
Yeah, and it's a good hike in there. It's almost like, you know, I mean...
Yeah, they say there's still a lot of fish up there in them lakes, they ain't dry.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lakes up there too.
Well, now, before we turned the camera on, we were talking a little bit about Johnson Park. And you were telling some stories about, you know...
That you could buy the land?
Yeah, in the 1950s.
In the 50s, it was cheap here. Real cheap.
And you said you could have bought a whole chunk of it.
I figured that with $20,000, I could have bought the whole side of it. That's how cheap it was. Well, when
Yeah.
Johnson, you're talking about Johnson bought that.
Right.
It wasn't worth nothing then.
Right, yeah. So I just want to ask you now, like for
You
this...
didn't get your coffee, did you?
No, not yet. So now, like for this little section of this particular video that we're doing, is there, just take a minute now to think, is there anything else about the history of this area that you would like to put in this video?
The what?
To put anything else you want to say right now about the history of this area? Whether it's Johnson Park, or it's fishing, or it's hunting, or Bernie, just, you know.
Well, I'd like to have it back like it used to, but it ain't gonna get there. You can't wish for that.
You liked it better the way that it was.
I like it the way it used to be. A lot better than I do now.
Well, let's be more...
You can't go in the woods. You can't do nothing no more.
Yeah.
These cuts you just about cut off. And they're gonna stop you from fishing. Because these guys that fishes for them tournaments,
Right.
they turn them fish loose after they catch them. Now they say it hurts their mouths. And they said down at Clear Lake they couldn't fish another tournament down there.
Really?
It hurts them fish's mouth.
They're stopping the bass fishing tournament.
Yes, stopping the bass tournament. In Clear Lake, that's what they tell me.
Wow.
They'd already stopped it.
Because that was one of the biggest bass fishing tournaments in the
Yeah, it
country.
is.
Wow. Well, I'll just throw in 2 cents here, you know, like that they're telling me, you know, they're gradually phasing out the use of lead bullets.
Yeah.
You know, by,
Well, they're going to take everything before the gun. The guns are going fast.
yeah. Like this year, Fish and Game lands, you can't use lead bullets. By 2019, you won't be able to use lead bullets in California anywhere.
That's right.
Now, Pat Taylor, or the fellow over there at Bernie Sporting Goods told me they're going to do the same thing with lead weights for fishing. They're going to outlaw lead weights. Have you heard about that?
No, I ain't heard about that.
I'm not sure when, but he was saying, that they're talking about that.
You can't throw your hook out, huh?
You can't use a lead weight.
Well, that's what the weights is for. Just throw your hook out.
Right. So maybe you'll have to, maybe there'll be something else. You can use gold weights.
That's what I say. They're going to stop for fishing.
Right. You could use gold weights or silver weights.
Yeah, you
Steel.
use a rock. There's a lot of things you could do. Drill a hole in a rock, use a rock.
Right. But they're not going to let you,
They ain't going to let you do that, but I mean, the lead, that wouldn't be lead, that'd be a rock.
Right. So back in the old days, there was a lot more freedom.
Oh, God, yeah, you had all the freedom of it. I had the best hunting there was in California.
Yeah.
And the fishing.
Yeah.
I've seen it all.
Now, another thing, too, I'll say, because did you ever do any trapping?
No, I never did trap very much. I always used dogs.
This year they outlawed
They stopped the
bobcats.
trap. Well, they more or less they stopped you from selling the hides.
Right. Well, this year they outlawed bobcats, period.
Yeah.
You can't trap bobcats.
You can't kill no animal.
So one friend of mine, he was thinking of doing bobcats and fox this year. He's not going to do either. Because he said you put a trap out for a fox, and you trap a bobcat by mistake, they'll take away your traps, and you could get a pretty stiff fine.
Well, I didn't heard that one, but that's probably what they'll do.
Yeah. So.
Well, you ain't supposed to be trapping the fox either.
Oh, you're not supposed to trap the fox?
No, I don't think.
Yeah, I would have to check.
They more or less outlawed the trapping.
Well, there are some things that you can still do, but I just know that this year they did outlaw bobcat trapping in the whole state.
Yeah, I know it.
And so it's kind of interesting. This used to be the Wild West.
Oh, God, yeah, you could do anything you wanted to do. You had all kind of animals. But until, let's see, what year was that? That was in the 50s. Them guys from the city down there come up here and start killing bear for the clog ladders.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's what done away with a lot of bear. They just kill them and leave them.
Right.
And that's where we made a mistake. The game wasn't even want to do nothing about that.
Uh-huh.
We should have done it ourselves.
But now you told me last time that you think the bear are coming back now because...
Oh yeah, them bears get thick now.
Yeah.
Cause there ain't nobody killing them. There's very few bear kills without them dogs, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Or trapping. See, you're not allowed to trap or bait or nothing. Not legal.
Yeah.
Now used to you could bait for a bear. When I first started bear hunting, you could hunt bear any way you wanted to. Year round, never did have to have a license or nothing.
Right. Now this June, 2 months, this is September, 3 months ago, a little less than 3 months ago, they arrested a fellow down in Lassen County for trapping fox and bearcat out of season.
Yeah.
He had 70 pelts. They fined him $5,000 and they sold off his pelts. So he lost the pelts. They auctioned them off and got through a licensed dealer. $15,000 worth of pelts. And he got $5,000 fine. And he is not going to be able to do any trapping or basically even go out in the woods, anything out in the woods for 1 year. He's got 1 year probation. So that's what happens to you if you break the law now.
Yeah.
They're cracking down on it.
Yeah, like that's the reason I got rid of them dogs. Because if they'd have caught me with the gun, with them dogs, they'd take everything I had.
And I noticed that because like you had a sign there on your house that says beware of dog. But after you couldn't hunt with them anymore, you got rid of them.
Now you can't, if you got caught with them dogs in a gun.
Right.
Now he said, that game warden says that if I was up there and didn't have no guns, and they treat a bear, I was allowed to go get them. But I just allowed to go get the dogs and bring them back to pickup. But you can't go to that tree with a gun.
Right.
But you can't have it in your pickup.
If they found you with a gun in your pickup, it would be the same as if you
Yeah,
had the gun.
yeah, they find you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this particular session because I usually do it for 15 minutes. But thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
you know, and thank you. Also, I just want to say before she picks it up, this gentleman's also a very good baker. He's been baking peach cobbler for a long time, and he gave us a sample, and all kinds, blackberry cobbler, and it was absolutely delicious. So
Well, thank you.
baker. So, thank you.